South Korea has the largest number of confirmed coronavirus cases outside of China. Life is being severely impacted by the outbreak. Small business have shut down. School and university functions are being cancelled. To find out about daily life in the country right now, I'm joined via Skype by Vasha Rambali, an English teacher teaching in Changwon, South Korea. Vasha, thank you so much for talking to me, and I hope I didn't butcher your name too badly there. But, you know, when we talk about South Korea having the highest number of coronavirus cases outside of China, it's one thing for us to be academic about it from a distance and sort of talk about it and analyze it from far. You are living right in the center of that situation. What does that feel like? What does that look like?
Okay, good evening, Chula and listeners, or good evening from my side, good afternoon from your side, I think. And thank you, firstly, for giving me the opportunity. So, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's important to place this in perspective. We're living in a country where there's 51 million people, and we do have an infection rate of confirmed 5,000 cases, just over 5,000 cases at the moment, and 29 deaths. We started out with our first case, you know, one case in January, and it has spiraled significantly. I think there's a level of fear, there's a level of anxiety, but at the same time, I must say, at a personal level, I feel fairly confident that I think the situation is in hand. You know, in as much as you said that small businesses are closing, I don't think that's completely true. I went out today for 15 minutes. I just took a little walk around with my mask on, of course. And there are a few restaurants that are open, small shops are open, and the government actually reacted fairly speedily. And they have put aside funding actually to assist these small businesses as well.
So, Vasha, much of the reporting in international media around the outbreak in South Korea has focused on this religious group, Shin Cheonji, and basically much has been said about it in reportage. On the ground in South Korea, are you guys talking about this, whether or not the role of this church has been a factor in the spread of this virus?
Well, definitely. You know, I think the first thing to say is, firstly, on the ground is a relative concept, because at the moment, most of us, including myself, have gone into voluntary self-isolation. So there isn't much ground contact as such. It's a virtual community that has kicked in. But definitely, I mean, if you look at the 5,000 cases, you know, I would say approximately 70% of the cases are located in Daegu, where the Shincheonji Church is located. And definitely, I mean, that's where the epicenter is and where what they call the super spreader was located. So, yeah, you know, I mean, there's a lot of conversation going around it. But I think the focus is more in terms of us here, you know, focusing on trying to stay safe, trying to make sure that, you know, our hands are washed, taking all the precautions, rather than focusing on, okay, you know, what's the cause and that sort of thing. Now we're looking at more sort of self-protection,
Talk to me about, I heard you say you've got a fair amount of confidence in the government response. What's that based on? What's the government doing that has sort of assured you that this situation will soon be under control?
Okay. Well, I think, you know, in terms of just the, you know, we talk about the fourth industrial revolution, and it's quite fascinating to see it in action here. The whole response mechanism and the response strategy from the government has been very good. So, you know, right now, if any one of us feel we have symptoms, every one of us, I think, knows that we do not need to go into a hospital. There's a call center that you call into and you get directed towards that. You know, the hospitals that they've set up, we've got drones going in, working in these hospitals rather than people. And, there's masks now provided. With the shortage in terms of masks, the government has set up its own production mechanism, and where they're releasing masks and making masks accessible. So the whole response strategy is, very reassuring in terms of, as someone here, there's been a lot of pressure, emotional pressure, as you would understand, in terms of, people feeling we should be back home. I myself, in terms of my first knee-jerk reaction, but feeling, I should go back home. But I think in terms of, everything that we see around us, we just feel, personally, I must say, I feel a sense of confidence in terms of feeling that things are in hand.
Yeah. So lastly then, you're saying you've put yourself in self-isolation. Tell me about the impact then on activities such as the reason you are there, teaching English. Are classes suspended? Any time frames of when you might be able to, resume normal life once again?
Sure. Again, it's around the whole proactive approach in terms of government response. So we were currently on the spring vacation, and we were due to open today. And then the government then took a decision that they will delay opening of schools till the 9th of March. And just yesterday, there was a further decision taken because of, again, the soaring numbers, to open on I think it's the 23rd of March now. Because the feeling is, and in terms of most of the research, is that the next 2 weeks, I think, are critical, and then they're allowing 1 more week to sort of see how things settle, and then make a judgment from there. What is in place at the moment is, government officials are on, as public servants, we are getting full salaries. There are people who are working in private schools, and the government then has set aside funding for, obviously, these private schools are small businesses, and they have set aside funding for these small businesses so that they can pay their staff up to 70% of their salaries as well.
All right, Varsha, thank you so much. And before I just let you go, so for a message maybe from your side, anyone that knows you from South Africa, worried about your safety and how you're doing, what would you say to them?
I would say to them, stay calm and wash your hands.
All right, thank you so much, and we wish you well there. That is Varsha Rambali, who is a teacher out in South Korea in Changwon, talking to us there about life in one of the countries, in fact, the country now that has the highest number of confirmed coronavirus cases outside of China.